changing some settings and then we're good to go.
I will now call to order the July 18th, 2024 meeting of the Salem Historic Landmarks Commission. Will the recorder please take roll call?
Commissioner Crittenden. Commissioner Inman.
Here.
Commissioner Kazen.
Present.
Commissioner White-Taylor.
Present.
Commissioner Morris is absent excused. Commissioner Strauss is absent excused. Commissioner Strong. Commissioner Weathers. I'm here. Commissioner Zimmerman. Here. We have quorum.
I'd like to now call for a motion to adopt a new agenda.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt a new agenda with no public hearing this evening.
Do I have a second?
Second.
The motion is made by Commissioner Zimmerman, seconded by Commissioner Kaiser. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so we now have a new agenda. So the commission will now hear testimony from the public concerning items not on the agenda. Is there anyone wishing to speak at this time? Seeing none, we will now consider the approval of the minutes of two of our meetings, May 2024 and June. I have a motion to approve minutes.
I so move to approve the minutes.
Second. Commissioner Zimmerman moves to approve the May and June 2024 minutes, and Commissioner Inman seconds. Are there any corrections? No. I will now call for a vote. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. And we have no public hearings and action items, so yes, we are on to our awards. So. So for our first award, this is the Ben Maxwell Award. And it goes to the Holman Hotel for the commercial building. It opened up in 2023, named after Joseph Holman, and the original Holman building on the site, which was demolished in 1950 to make way for a parking garage for the Marion Hotel. The hotel includes a historic interpretive panel on the primary facade, and each of the conference rooms are named after influential women in Salem's history, including Mary Purvine, a graduate of Willamette University in 1903. She was one of the first female doctors in Oregon. She had a medical practice in Salem for 50 years. Anne Dirksen, one of the founders of Salem Hospital. She served as the hospital's anesthetist, and Chloe Wilson, first teacher at the Oregon Institute, which opened in 1844. She held classes on the first floor of the former Indian Manual Labor Training School building on what is now Willamette University's campus. Is there anybody here for the Holman Hotel?
Yes. Come on. We're gonna take this one over to the award. Yeah.
It's acrylic.
Unbox.
Is there unbox? Our second Holman, sorry. Second Ben Maxwell Award is for residential, and that is for Scott Heidi Grew in the Elizabeth Watt House from 1904. The Grews were honored in 2015 with the Maxwell Award, and over the past 9 years have continued to invest countless hours and effort to restore and preserve the Watt House. They have invested over $11,000 matched in award to Wilcox Springs. Mr. and Mrs. Grew?
Okay.
Not here. Okay. And our other Ben Maxwell Award is going to the Criterion Schoolhouse. Where's Criterion Schoolhouse here? Okay. The Oregon Retired Educators Association have worked to raise funds to restore the Criterion Schoolhouse, a one-room schoolhouse built in 1912 and used until 1925 in Wasco County. It was chosen out of 50 candidates to be moved 200 miles to the Oregon State Fairgrounds for the 1976 bicentennial celebration as an excellent example of a one-room schoolhouse. For more than 20 years, OREA has provided docents to host visitors to the Criterion schools during the Oregon State Fair. In 2016, OREA launched a campaign to help repair the roof, restore the original windows, and paint the exterior of the building. There's also an article in the Columbia Board News. And on August 10th, 2023, the Criterion Schoolhouse was placed on the National Schoolhouse Register by the Country School Association of America. Placement on the CSAA registry are awarded to school buildings that are at least 50 years old, have been restored, renovated, or reconstructed to retain the integrity of their original design and are well maintained. The Criterion Schoolhouse is the first Oregon school building to receive this designation. Next up. The Virginia Green Award is awarded for exemplary service on behalf of historic preservation within the Salem community. This year, the Virginia Green Award is going to Melanie Zermer. Melanie Zermer for her ongoing support of historic programming at KMUZ. She's a founding board member at KMUZ FM, a community radio broadcaster serving the Mid-Willamette Valley, serving over 235,000 listeners in Salem, Kaiser, from Woodburn, Albany, and Dallas State. Historic programming has included the Salem History Moment from 2021 to present with the Salem HLC, Salem History Matters 2017 to 2020 with Deb Meagers and Christy Van Oakland. And Your Salem Through the Years, 2012 to 2014, Virginia Green and Jim Shepke.
I add a couple of other things.
Yes.
Yeah, so Virginia Green and I also did a short series on early women in Salem. And Virginia Green also did, at the behest of Marion County, a history of each of the 20 cities in Marion County. So we've done a lot of history in the 12 years we've been here.
You can actually put us with Microsoft Teams here. Then I'll go with you.
Oh, okay.
Nice, fabulous.
Oh, okay, great. And I let Virginia know that we were getting this. Thanks.
Next up is the Cultural Landscape Award winner is for outstanding interpretation or preservation of a cultural landscape. This year, the award goes to Lynn Takata. And the Neighborhood Association for the Englewood Park Forest Festival from 2017 to present in historic Englewood Park. The festival was established in 2017 in order to bring both awareness and appreciation of Englewood Park, designed by Lord and Shriver, as well as to bring the community together to support the arts and provide opportunities for environmental education. The 7th annual festival will be held on August 10th, 2024, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And finally, though I am not I am just the vice chair. The HLC Chair Award is going to Kathy Lynn for her ongoing coverage of historic Salem over the years as a reporter at the Statesman Journal. Some of her articles include Salem House renovation uncovers an autographed post from October of 2015. New OPB documentary features Salem nonprofit, which is the Oregon Black Pioneers, who actually has spoken to our commission before. That was in February 2019. Why is the city of Salem building an underground vaults downtown from May of 2024? Going back to Readers Explain Links to History from December of 2003.
Thank you to the commission for what you guys do. I want.
Oh, no.
Scott, I'm
Sorry.
Sorry, we're late.
To share. Oh. It's on the historic register, so you know, obviously, we need to for that. We appreciate the TULAX grants that are made available to the Salem.
Big.
Yes, I'd like to put a request or a push to have another window restoration workshop. For you by somebody. I attended one 10, 15, well, actually 12 years ago or so, and it led to our project of our upper hall being restored. So those are efforts from the city staff that made that initial knowledge for me, like, oh my gosh, this is feasible, we can actually do this. And I successfully tore out one window, but couldn't hold it. So then I hired somebody to do the rest of it, but it started. So that and maybe a push for some tools to be put in. So
Okay. Next, now back to our regularly scheduled program. We're going to talk about the historic features restoration grant. Jacob?
I'll wait. Okay. Both.
Yes, this is Jacob Morris, Historic Preservation Plan. I wanted to provide a brief update of the project we mentioned in our last scheduled meeting. The Historic Features Restoration Grant, which is kind of our working title of it. I think there was some feedback. We had the competition seemed a little too cutthroat for something that was feel good and make good type project. So Since then, we have been working with urban development to hammer out the specifics of that. I know Kimberly had been in a meeting there that I sat into, and we're working on exactly who does what and it looks like we're pretty receptive to Historic Landmarks Commission take on some of the roles you would have been interested in doing in terms of reviewing for historic appropriateness, and then working on the kind of order of things would occur, you know, to make it a smooth process. So we also discussed, because there was a concern of like how other incentives may overlap with this, and so we worked on how that would play out. And if Kimberly, and she's tail end of another meeting, so if she comes in, she may be able to provide more detail if you have questions. But that's kind of a summary of we've been ongoing. We've done a few meetings and some correspondences to work our way through the feedback you gave us last time. Sorry, it's a little bit vague, but yeah.
Provide a little bit more. You also have gotten an FAQ in your packets about what we do have developed for the program, but essentially business owners or building owners would submit a letter of intent online through a form that we'll create. And that's just like to indicate that they have interest and can answer a few basic questions to make sure that they're eligible. They then have to go through sort of design review and then through the grant application process for the actual grant. So there's a few steps, but the big thing will be going through historic design review before the HLC. But those are kind of the basics, and like Jake said, Kim should be here very soon to answer any additional questions.
I have a question, and that is, will there be any requirement for matching funds from the property owner, business owner, or is this going to be a straight grant?
I'm under the impression that urban development is providing the funds with no requirement for matching.
And the total grant pool is going to be up to $100,000?
That should be 200,000, I believe, and I'm under the impression that it's 200,000 total with a 100,000 per applicant, but I think that is a question that we are still working out.
Commissioner Weathers.
Oh, did I turn off? Okay, great. Looking at what was in the packet there, saying that letter of interest is due by the end of the month. Is that still the time frame? Because that's less than 2 weeks to get the word out. You know, like stuff. That's
I'm not entirely sure on the flexibility of those dates. But I know that the letter of interest would just be, it is, from my conversations, it's just 4 questions. It's not like a full letter. But yeah, it's not a lot of time. But I don't know, Lisa, did you have additional?
I was just gonna say Kimberly's walking in upstairs right now, so hopefully she could let you know if there's flexibility.
Sure. That's right.
Here she comes. Okay. They have many questions, Kimberly.
Oh, great. Yeah, thank you.
The question on the floor right now is the deadline for the letters of interest. And the flexibility of that because it's very big.
Yes. So, yeah, thanks, Jake. Hi, everyone, sorry, Mike. So the way it's conceived is, yeah, that we'll start accepting the online submittal at the end of the month and then give folks 2 weeks. So is that in the handout? Yeah, so it is pretty quick, but it's intended to allow plenty of time for the historic design review. So.
chair. To be clear, you won't start accepting letters of interest until the end of the month, or they're due by the?
No, we won't start accepting until the end of
Okay, because then after that, it says last day to apply for, oh, September, oh, I did, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
That's more time.
Yeah. I don't know, did you already talk about kind of public outreach and?
Just that some- That's it. That'd be
Yeah,
More about the process. That was a specific site.
yeah, no, I appreciate it. So I know there's an information report that's going to council, Jerry, talking about that. Oh, yeah, when, like Monday, so, and also we're gonna be working with, the city's communication team to do a press release. We got something written up for the newsletter. Sorry, the handy dandy newsletter, but we're also gonna be doing individual outreach to folks that we know have, I think, really good projects, so we have a kind of a short list. So also, if you guys already know folks that you think might be, we wanna do like, just inviting folks to apply.
Question. I see in the one attachment, it says, letters of interest will be accepted between July 31st and August 16th. Grant applications are due November 8th. And then the other attachment, penalties on the timeline, we just make sure the timeline matches.
Right.
Whatever is actually the dates. It is a little unclear, like when the letter of interest will be accepted. And my second question was, do you have a sense of how many applicants there?
I can tell you what I hope.
Yeah, yeah.
I hope it's like 3, because then, and I don't know, there's a couple, things that we would need to decide, right? We need the landmarks commission, right? We would wanna, I think we're used to being able to be able to give folks like through our toolbox grant, which is much less money, but we've always been able to award it, everybody who applies. So that said, I mean, yeah, it'd be great if there was a lot of interest, but then there would be some hard decisions to make. It's competitive, so. I mean, off the top of my head, I know of 2, well, did you talk about conflict, like, I know of 2 that would be really good. Putting in this one. Yeah, I know of 2. I hope it's smaller, because then I think the decisions. Any other questions?
Well, just speaking of the outreach and whatever the blurb ends up that goes out, so I understand because, you know, chat, probably some of the same folks, it sounds like there's a 200,000 total, but a max of 100,000 per project, but we don't know how many projects it's based on applicants. But
Correct.
are we happy to say that it'll be 2 awards or?
No, I think it's up to you guys, like, I know that it's capped on the amount of money, I mean, we can't get any more bids, but. You could award a project, is that your question?
I guess, just because, as it says on here, 1 or more, so.
Right,
It's the point that's being discussed, is it 2 or is it 7, and I'm just sticking it up, and that was not being.
up to, right, so let's say, I'm not great at it, but let's say 20 people apply. I'm a bit horrible now, probably, then, yeah.
If you have 20 people apply.
Oh my God, that is a terrible word.
Applicants,
And then they left at 6 o'clock
You
on
have
the
one person
train.
maybe interested 100,000, and the other 19 asked for like 2,000 each. We can
I mean,
easily
yeah.
Cover all that, that's all that.
But you never know,
Right,
you know,
but if it's like 3 and somebody applies for 50,000, one person applies for 75,000. somebody applies
look
for
at the
75.
math. Yeah. You got it. We can divide it up, how it makes sense,
Is it correct, we can also award less,
yes,
I mean. They want that, but if it's part of their project.
Yeah.
Partially.
it makes me think of like the heritage. It's happened to me,
Right.
it's hard decisions.
Anything else about the grant Hey, Grant.
And I don't know, you did already talk about, so Zach's gonna work on setting up a web application. Which has to accept the interest, and we'll make sure that all our FAQs and everything are correct and not.
I have another question, I guess. Have we offered this grant before? This is
Yes, in
Okay.
2003,
Okay, I was
two
wondering.
thousand and four,
20 years ago.
yeah.
Do we anticipate Urban Renewal to be able to fund this in the future, or do we
Maybe.
one time
They always seem to.
depend on how?
Used to do it. We just don't. Love it. I think it's very serendipitous.
Next up, work plan assignment updates. Kimberly, take it away.
Me. What's everyone been up to? I can just give a brief update. We had a meeting or checked in, I think you guys, Jake and Zach, and our little subcommittee leadership team for the disaster resiliency plan, which is you two are on that. They sent us like a drafty draft of the plan. They're gonna be coming to Landmarks Commission to present to you guys next month. But ahead of that, there's gonna be one more meeting, which I have to be invited to. I'm really excited about this work. I don't know if I've talked about it much at all. It'll hopefully be something we can adopt as part of our historic commission. It's been really good. Trying to happy, very engaged. So that's all I have, and I'm going to be moving on.
Commissioner Amy, do you have any updates? Commissioner Kixer.
I don't.
Commissioner Zimmerman.
Pretty much, I'm just continuing to update the social media stuff, which is going well.
Great intro.
Yeah, and the Salem history moment, so we're still, pushing those out pretty well. Just same old, just getting stuff done.
Commissioner Weathers. Commissioner Shaw.
Actually, the last time we talked about it, I said, well, what is the next step? And you said that staff would sort of let us know. So, actually, when I saw it on the agenda, I thought, maybe this is a good time to find out what the next step.
We should set a meeting.
I am willing, especially after summer is over.
I love that, so let's follow up. Jake's writing them down.
I'm thinking about all my exposed windows at the moment with all the waste just sitting there.
Oh, boy.
hanging out in the breeze. I'm thinking, this is a perfect time for.
It's an opportunity.
Working on my your house. Yes.
Pitbull.
Scaffolding's up, so everyone can climb up.
We do a pop.
You know where to find me.
Well, last up on the agenda is the Historic Preservation Officer.
Well, let's see, I think the biggest thing, the reason I'm late, is, it's just a goal, it's goal 5 rulemaking, which I think I've talked about before, related to archaeological resources. And I'm actually kind of excited. I know I was chatting with Lisa about this previously. I was really concerned initially about, there was some language in there where they basically, at the very end, it's where they put the applicability and for review and all our code. But they had on there, yeah, basically local jurisdictions, they can apply it if they want, but they don't even have to, kind of that language. So the tribes had expressed, not surprisingly, some unhappiness about that. So it looks like that's going away. We'll see if it actually really goes away. But so that was one positive thing. It's still going on. We're hashing out a lot of language. One of the big things that if it goes forward as I think it most likely will, is that we will, so our program is in really good shape. So how this all started is because the tracks on our program, everyone should have a program. But they're adding also a different resource type, so cultural landscapes. And that's not something we've defined, done any kind of inventory. It's been sort of my dream wish list to do a cultural landscape plan for Salem. So this would just bring that more to the forefront. So the timeline, we have a few more meetings. And then of course it has to go through the process for adoption. But when it passes, I'll give a thorough update and what that may mean for us in terms of our. That's my big update. Other than that, I got to go to Disneyland. Universal Studio and go see Harry Potter. I did not bring my lightsaber. I did bring it to work, so some folks got to see initially. I know, hilarious. We didn't bring our kids, but just my husband and I so got to be just. It's good. It was good. Anyway, that's all I got. And what a fast meeting. I'm sorry I missed the awards. Congratulations, everyone.
Well, if nobody has any questions for Kimberly, then I say this meeting is adjourned. Oh,
I want to be adjourned just as much, but we missed the newsletter and I want to know. if my article
I got,
is-
yes, newsletter.
Oh, we jumped over the
Totally. Sign.
So, like I did on the newsletter, I'm still missing one article from the commissioner who's not present today. They will get to start talking to us. It's also a little bit fortuitous so that we can include the information about the grant. So that will go out soon, but everything I've got as far as. But yeah, that's that. If you want to start thinking of what the fall theme will be, that will go out at the end of September, early October. So we could do ghost stories. Yeah. That would be something exciting.
I love that thing.
I had lots of
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm just throwing that out there. It's your newsletter. You can do what you want. But that's all I have. Unless anyone says any additional questions.
Anybody? Okay, adjourn.